about our program itself and some content, timeline, tools, rules, and online learning experience a little bit. Since some of you do have already online courses taken, but some of you don't. So I'd like to show you what are advantage and briefly advantage, disadvantage of online programming courses, taking online course, and we have to do some business here, distance learning requirement. Okay, so first of all, characteristics again of MSE. Thank you, Michael, again.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. All right, so online obviously is entirely, the MSE is entirely online program, as you see. So it's 12th year. And requirements are, some of you do have a bachelor's in computer science. You're good. Or you do have bachelor's degree in some different field and some equivalent work, meaning experience of industry at least 1 year plus. That's the minimum requirements that you should have. One of the reasons that we have that is that many of you do work in software industry but didn't have background in computer science, but you want to get advanced degree. So this is a good field to get into. So that's we have also. We accept, or typically we admit 50 to 60 students per year in cohort mode. That meaning you guys are taking the same course each semester, courses. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. And also you graduate, so you come in same time and graduate at the same time. You are cohort number 12. Okay, so 2015. Okay, so again, we'll get into a little bit more detail into this, but 30 units, 10 courses, and 2 courses per semester. And so if you compute it, so then it takes 22 months, including summer. So 4 semesters plus 1. So you'll be graduating 2017, spring of 2017. Okay, so 22 months from today. And national ranked 16 by U.S. News and World Reports. Some of you Googled it, and so we're ranked high. So probably there was encouraging factor. Actually, we were a little bit higher than this when we started. We're actually number 4th. But went down a little bit because of reasons that I want to say publicly. So, so anyway, but we'll be getting better. We'll do, and besides that, since we started, a lot of big universities, like UCLA, USC, especially my alma mater, they joined also software engineering program, also offering online software engineering program, et cetera, et cetera. So that competition became fierce. So that also didn't help us either because big schools have better names and all these things, so that helps them too. So anyway, so you should be proud that we're ranked top 25 is always good, right? So US World News and Reports. So what is the MSE? The content letter is. So we're, as a Dean Uni said that we're trying to emphasize both, okay? The products and process. So MSE, we're trying to give you good technical aspects of software engineering. So hopefully you'll become good analyst, good architect, and also V&V engineers. So good technical area, you should get also a lot of exposure. But technical matter is not everything, right? So we need to also have a good project management area also exposed. So we emphasize these both areas, not just the technical areas, but also project management area we call process. So we are emphasize product as well and process. So how we construct, obviously they're related to each other. So if you do have good process, we hope that we get good product too. But it's important also you allocate resources properly and time-wise and et cetera, et cetera. So this program will emphasize products as well as the process. That's kind of unique when we started. A lot of universities actually do offer software engineering master's degree, but a lot of them emphasize either one or the other. So the universities offer, like big university in the East Coast, which I don't want to name, start with C. So they offer a lot of process model. Okay. There's some other universities, they do good in technical areas, but not process areas. So we thought that this is an area we could, if we emphasize this too, that will actually, give satisfaction to the software industry as well. So that's where we started. Again, 10 courses. So front end, or there is a course related to product development. We have 4 courses: requirements, standard, and verification, validation, maintenance, and design and architecture. So these are 4 courses, core courses that help you to become a good in technical areas. Okay. Now we have 3 courses that are dealing project and process management area, and 544 is advanced software process, and 546 project management, and 547, which is software measurement. So hopefully this will give you also a good background in being a good manager of software. And in addition to that, we have a 548, which is professional ethics and legal issues for software engineers. It's really important that we have proper ethics when we develop software and when we do with something with software. So 548 will be ethics. And you're going to have 6 units of projects. Okay, so this will be 6 units, so total 30 units. Again, it takes 22 months to complete, 4 semesters plus 1 summer. The timeline is fall 2015, this fall. You're taking 541 typically. There could be exceptions, but typically you should take, again, since being cohort mode, all of you should take 541 and 544. I think most of you have signed up already, but if you don't, you should sign up. If you somehow cannot get access to the system, then you should contact Ms. Sandra Boulanger right away, so you get permit to register. Okay. And spring 2016, you're going to take 545 and 546. So as you can see, we try to have 2 courses. One is technical area, the other one is process area. So try to allocate that way. So 545 is design and architecture, and the 546 again is process management. Okay. Summer 2016, 548 is again ethics. 597-1, this is project number 1. And for 2016, 542 is verification and validation. And then 547 with software measurements. Again, this one technical area, the other one is a processor. So you have exposure to both. And spring 2017 is 543 software maintenance and project 2. Okay, so then you'll be graduating at that. Okay, so if you have questions, we have later on Q&A session, so you can ask questions of it. Unless you want to really have understanding questions, you can raise your hand. Tools, mostly we'll be using CSUF portal and Titanium, which is Moodle for CSUF. Now Titanium, the portal you'll be using, basically checking your grades and all this other stuff that you deal with university itself. And then Titanium is where you do actual work, where you have interface with your courses. Okay. So this is what it looks like. I mean, most of you know this, but just picture your portal. Looks like www.fulton.edu, and then you sign up and etc. So then this is a Titanium, where it says, so click on one of these Titanium. It should show the courses you're registered for typically. Okay. So if it doesn't show them, means the faculty did not open up yet, or you have not registered for the course. So this will be where you'll be interacting with faculty members. There's, if you like to have details of Moodle, those of you who didn't work with Moodle, there is a link here we can click, I think. So it shows you a lot of information about Moodle. So Oasis, where you can talk about Titanium. So you can go online and get more information about titanium. Next. So if you have any problem, especially with titanium, or if it initially titanium receives a portal, then we have a 24/7 help desk, which is a 7777 extension, which is 278, so 657-278-7777, where you can tell to the people that you have any problems, and they try to resolve the issue as soon as they can. Now, if you cannot access the class somehow because you register late or something happens, then you can also contact the instructor. Then the instructor typically can also manually enroll you to the class, okay? So if you have registered for the course, you should have access to the class that you have registered for. But if somehow you don't see the link to the class, then contact the faculty member. Then he will check whether you're already enrolled. Then if you're enrolled, in fact, he could register you manually. Okay, he has the authority to do that. Yes, sir.
I'm in a different section. We're coworkers.
Okay.
But I enrolled later and got into
Different section.
the same section. Is that easy to switch?
No, that is since it's both online courses, good thing about this online course, we actually we're going to merge together. So although these are 4 sections, actually all of you are working in basically same section in the sense that, because you are merging both sections. So you can choose anyone you want to be partner, that's fine. So yeah, it's just for administrative purposes with 2 sections, but it's everything in 1. So yeah, no problem. Okay. The rules, again, read faculty and staff email. That's really, really important, especially if there's some additional matters, graduation, registration, all these issues, then you should read faculty, especially Sandra will want to send you. I'm going to send you an email time to time, but mostly it'll be coming from Sandra. And ask help if you have any problem with this course or courses. Don't just disappear from the classes. So just being cyberspace, if you disappear, we'll not see you. Any problem with online programs, I really don't see you in the classroom. So if you don't say anything, I don't know whether you're really there or not there, okay? And some people just disappear. They don't say anything. So they don't take exams, they don't do anything. So then we know at that point we have a problem here. But so if you if you just disappear from the class, then typically you will receive WU, it's unauthorized withdrawal, and which converts into F later on. So once you have F, it's really difficult to remain in the program, because we have a rule that means if a grad student, you have to keep GPA 3.0 or above. Okay, 3.0. Okay, so if you get an F, then it's really very hard to get above 3.0. You'll be on probation right away. Okay, so if you have any problem, you need to contact faculty, staff. It could be a personal issue that you cannot do something. It could be your work issue. Okay, so you cannot perform properly. Then you should contact faculty right away, and me, and possibly also Dr. Shafi. Okay, so you need to contact us. You have to let us know what problem you have. All right, so let's talk about a little bit online learning experience. Again, those of you who do have already online exposure, but some of you don't, so I thought this was important. So what kind of things we expect from you, and what kind of you need to do in order to be a successful student here. Online learning is very, very different from classroom learning, obviously. Okay, so there are advantages and disadvantages of online learning. Contrary to many people believe that online education have far more advantages than disadvantages. Some of you are aware of this, so we'll get into that right away. What are advantages of online learning? First of all, is live anywhere and study from anywhere. So basically location independent, right? As a matter of fact, some of the people who signed up for this program live in Northern California, and I think one or two is out of state. So they could not join us here, but they can actually participate in MSE program because we have this online access. And also, if you have to travel for your work to Europe or whatever, South America, whatever, China, whatever that is, so you can work from there too. So you don't have to be physically here in order to do the work. So location independent. That's a really big factor. I think many of you are signed up for this because you cannot really be here all the time, right? Or travel a lot, whatever. So online learning does not require commuting. How many of you had problem parking today? Raise your head. None, right? But you're lucky. Because if you come Monday when the class starts, if you have, say, class Monday, Wednesdays, 5:30 to 6:45, you will not find the parking because it's so full, okay? And also, commuting 57 is not a very good thing to do at 5:30, right? So it's very difficult to get to here also. So you will not have to be here physically. It helps you, saves you time, and you don't have to have stuck in the freeway. So you don't need really commuting to here. So that's a really good advantage too. Another one is basically the program is asynchronous. That means you don't have to sit at a certain time. So you don't have to sit like 5:30 Wednesday afternoon or Monday, Wednesday, whatever. So asynchronous, everything is there online. So whenever you can, then you can basically open up the material that you think you have to do and do the work and submit. Okay, so asynchronous is very convenient, especially if you work. It's very convenient for you to do that way, right? Sometimes you have meetings, all these things, so you cannot come at a certain time or particular time, but obviously you can do it at your convenience. The other was self-paced learning. So again, we give you some markers throughout the semester what you have to complete, but when you do it, it's up to you. So say we have to submit the project in 2 weeks from now, we'll give you deadlines. But you don't have to do it right away. Whenever you find time, you do it, you submit it. So it's self-paced. You can do it in the evening, in night, whatever, whenever you have time, you can do it. Right? And also accessibility. If you have some physical issues, we have, I think, 1 or 2 people who have physical difficulties also that we are not here today. So they can also obviously do programming or do also, to join our program. That's really good. So these are good advantages, okay? So most of you know this, but I thought I mentioned this. What are disadvantages, right? So the main disadvantage is no real close communication with faculty members, okay? So that is, we have, obviously, what an advantage can be also disadvantage, right? So there's no formal classroom meeting, right? Not 5 to 6:45, whatever. No regular meetings, and no face-to-face meetings like we have right now. And also no immediate response. So if you're in classroom session, you raise your hand and you ask questions, you get right away, you'll get your response. But however, here in this case, you have probably sent email or post things on the Blackboard, not Blackboard, Titan. Okay, so you're not getting a response right away because you'll be working sometimes during the night. Obviously, we're not awake during the night, right? You will get it next day. So you'll not get immediate response, right? So therefore, some feel that learning experience is not as rich as if you do in classroom session. Those people typically not sign up for online program, but if you take first time for an online program, you feel that, oh, wow, I need the response right away. I need to raise my hand. Where is everybody kind of thing, So that's one big disadvantage. The other one is you have to plan, right? So although the learning is self-paced, but you have to do the work, right? So at a certain point, there are deadlines you have to do. So in order to do that, you have to plan it. You have to really self-discipline. You have to set aside time. Okay, so for example, you're saying Friday evening and Saturday morning and Sunday morning is for this program, if you can. So you have to do work, right? So that means you need to plan everything. So if there is a certain deadlines, you need to plan it, you have to do it. Okay. So successful students really typically do a lot of planning. So you have to set a time, you have to do work, right? So planning is part of the, if you will, disadvantage. Here, if you have a regular classroom, you just come in and talk to faculty members and whatever. That's your planning. It's preset. In this case, you have to plan really to do the work. All right. So oral communication. So again, this disadvantage is that you don't have really meet your classmates and faculty members face to face. So there's not real oral communication area. So that's not a problem. And social isolation. Right? So some of you want to really talk to other students and all these things, but if you work just alone, you get isolated socially. That some people feel that's really a bad thing to in online programs. So these are disadvantages. Main disadvantages again is I think many of you perceive that is there's not close communication. That's a lot of people feel that you need more interaction, but I think if you have to take once online course, you'll like it, as a matter of fact. Okay, so the next one is distance learning requirements. So I have a separate handout for that. Okay, so in your packet there should be called distance learning requirements. This is from UPS, which is a regulation by the university. I was told I need to read this for online programming, so which I'm going to do. I don't think I have on this. Okay, so just look at the handout here. All right, so these are online learning requirements regulated by the university. So you can, most of them, so learning, again, it says from Titanium. You need to participate online in order to get good grade and also graduate. And also there is a Moodle, it has also all tracking capabilities. So if you do some things that it will track really. Okay, so instructor can see what kind of work you have done. Not that you are doing bad, but so you can see the activities which you are doing, and based on these activities they can improve things that they had to do. The online availability of instructors, so they're not available 24/7. So we have to split two, right? But typically what I do is it's different from instructor to instructor, but I check typically at least 2 or 3 times a day, check the emails and board. So try to respond within 24 hours typically. Okay. Obviously, if it's weekend, it takes a little bit longer. Sundays typically, I don't try to respond to you. By the way, it becomes heavy. So ever since Sunday things. So Sunday probably not, but usually less than 24 hours. Okay. So don't expect a response right away. All right. So if you send something and they expect within a couple of hours, why is it not sending response to my emails? Okay. That 24 hours is a good marker. Okay, I should say. Online behavior, we call them etiquettes. And I'm posting this online again, so you can, there are 10 rules you should actually read, right? So again, I'm going to post this online, and then I didn't want to really go into the individual ones. But if I post it online, and then you click on that, you should get to that particular etiquette rule, so you can look at that. So we don't require technical competency. We don't require any specific technical expertise. Again, support is 278-7777. If you somehow cannot submit your program or homework using online, most of the time it should work. You can wait a little bit, it will come back. Or if it is really urgent, then you can submit also using fax and email too. Okay. Campus reading requirements, again, there is no, since the entire online program, there is no requirement except for this one, and hopefully you attend also next year, which is midpoint meeting, to see how you are doing and show you what graduation looks like, and so this midpoint next year. Okay. All right, so most important thing is I was told to say this one too, academic dishonesty and penalty for academic dishonesty. So we know all this, right? This is very not a comfortable part, but still we have to say this. So being online program, it is really difficult sometimes to track all this, but I have to say it anyway. So don't try to other person's projects or something and claim to be yours, right? And if the faculty see that there has been some things going on, then they have a right to give an F for your assignment, also entire course. And it's possible that it'll be going to your university record. Okay, so just to let you know, I'm not gonna say more details, but don't try to, especially online program, don't try to do things that may harm you. And cheating, academic dishonesty is like cheating and plagiarism, and you know all this, right? So these are, you should read again in detail what academic dishonesty means. And also the last page shows I need to have this page returned to me. So you're saying I have read. You can spend a little bit of time. You can give it to me later when you leave. I have read and understand the distance learning requirements that I just explained mainly, and then dated, name, and signature. So that's, I was told to collect that too, so I'll do that. So you don't have to submit, right? If you don't understand things, you can ask me later, or spend a little bit of time to understand it and give it to me whenever you're ready. However, before you leave, I hope I'll get that. Okay. All right, so it's 9:57. So I'm done with that part, 10 minutes ago. So next one is in, thing what we like to do is introduction to 541, which you'll be taking, 544 also. These are two courses you're taking first this fall. So there are two faculty members coming out here to explain about the course itself. Yes, sir?
Sorry, I have a question about the difference between the two project courses. What are we going to do?
Okay, about that, probably one of the faculty members who does do these two private bid, you want to explain?
Typically,
Here, microphone.
you usually have a big voice. I need this. Typically, the first project class, you're going to try to figure out the topic and also the scope of the project. You're going to work with one of the MSE faculty, and you can help and advise. And eventually, the outcome of the first class is a formal proposal. Approved. And the second one, you're going to implement the proposal and hopefully get it done. And so one of the reasons we have the first one in the summer actually give you more time. So you can work in the summer, the fall semester, and also the spring. But even though the second one officially offered in the last semester.
Is this a group?
No, it's individual. That is from beginning to end individual work.
Since since I'm also teaching the projects, those 1 and 2, so let me elaborate a little bit. First of all, the motivation for the projects. Fair enough, you have so many different courses, and now all of a sudden you have a project. And I think one of the most important factors for the project is at the end of this program, when you graduate, typically we want to showcase your degree, right? Simply because you want to have promotion, for example, you finish one milestone, okay? Or you are in the market to find a new job, right? Or you are changing your job. Right? So I think that project is really a good launching pad for your new careers. Right. So for this reason, why we do this project into the whole curriculum, so that you have something you can show off. Right. And also, it's a good place for you to somehow integrate all of your stuff into one place. Right. Instead of just really taking information in, you have a way to put in technology out. Anyway, so that's going to be the project. And also, as Dr. Kang mentioned, that we break that into two, right? One in the summer, right? And you prepare your proposal. You think about what you want to do. And the end of first year's curriculum. So at that time, you have some idea already, right? And then in the fall of 2016, for your case, all right, you have a break over there. You don't have any kind of formal project activity yet. But on the other hand, you can use that one to somehow start working, right? If you last semester,
microphone,
then it's a formal implementation.
Does it work?
Right. So anyway, so that is the timeline for the whole talk. I hope that answered your question a little bit.
All right, thank you.